All right, freedom in the galaxy. Well, I'm at the start of turn 5, and I'm going to stop here. Um, and I'll kind of explain why in a minute, but I'll see what happened overall. There were a couple planets that were placed in rebellion. The problem with doing that, with just a couple, and actually, I kind of knew this, but I was hoping, I had two other planets at the time I was hoping to throw in rebellion as well and failed on those missions. But the problem with doing it kind of just a couple at a time is it's very easy for the Empire to just come in and crush the rebellions really easily. You really need to get like three or four at a time. You need to use the domino effect and get a bunch of planets down. And but more than that, even is you really have to, as the rebel player, just gather all this ton of information on all these planets and come up with a really detailed plan of how you want to do the rebellion. Now that can be appealing in some ways, but there's just so much information, and you have to look at which provinces are going to be taxed, which planets, what races are on them, and what races are on other planets, and where to put all your mission groups to do that. And it's really a very intensive process if you want to play this game well as the rebels. And even then, I mean, and one of the reasons I stopped is I just got kind of bored flipping these cards. And, you flip them over, and so many of them, you're in a special thing, and you'll get, okay, creature attacks, that's fine, whatever. Then you'll get, another creature attacks, and you'll draw a third one. The mission's aborted or whatever. And so, even though you have, a character like, Vodad who's really good at diplomacy, but a lot of times it doesn't really matter that they're good at diplomacy because a card will just come up that aborts the mission. And so there's no real, I should say there's real, because the diplomacy matters for your bonus draws, and that's important. But there's so much, luck in this action deck that it gets kind of annoying. It's annoying just flipping cards, and it's like, okay, that mission's aborted, that mission's aborted, and you go through this turn after turn after turn. And like I had two turns where the rebels, I had the mission group set up well. Had good, I got some groups together, shuffled characters and possessions around, and but still, this action deck, even if you do that, you're setting up to get the Yesters, which are one of these spacefaring races. Hopefully get this domino effect going with them. But then, every mission's aborted or unsuccessful. And even when I was getting bonus draws, I wasn't drawing diplomatic, or I draw just one diplomatic success, which doesn't trigger any kind of domino effect. So it can get really, frustrating as the rebel player to play this game. And it's just so much work to set it up in the first place. And then you set it up and the action deck just says, nah, it doesn't matter. You didn't get anything, tough luck. Go another turn, and that just gets to be a drag in this game. And it's really the problem to me, or the problem I have with this game, is it requires an intense amount of work by the rebels to try and figure out how to be successful in any way, and then the action deck will just kill that pretty quickly, or can kill it pretty quickly. Not always, but it's so loaded in that favor. And I felt I was doing pretty good as the rebels. I'd only lost one character. Xena Dora, Princess Leia, she got bitten by some flies or something and died on an unlucky roll on one of the missions. But other than that, I had pretty good. Had some pretty good healing abilities. I had the med kit. It went disabled, but I could repair it. And I got Dr. Sontag. So a couple of groups could heal easily. I had a good mix of stuff going on here. But, in the end, it's too much work for what it does. And it's, like I said, the action deck, the working everything out, which is, requires just so much time and effort to do. And it's kind of unfortunate because then you lose, I kind of lose the story of the characters. It's not telling me a very interesting story. These, it just becomes flipping cards over and rolling some dice and not really, thinking, wow, this will be a great, I got a great diplomat, this is going to be great, or anything like that. It just, the story kind of doesn't carry through as well. So yeah, it's a fairly complex game in some ways, but I mean the rules are good in it. I don't really have a problem with the rules. They're pretty decent. The components are fine. I like the map. I know some people don't, but I mean the maps gives this broad expanse of a galaxy, and you can kind of hide in areas and move around, especially as the rebellion pretty easily. Like the concept, of this, starting from the ground up in this rebellion. I think it's really, and it's not just me, but I mean online, everybody, it's really almost impossible for the rebels to win this game. I think, they have maybe a better chance if you're really, really experienced at this game as playing the rebels and you really just analyze everything and are able to just put this really big plan into place from the beginning. I think you may be able to succeed as the rebels in winning the game. I think it's possible, but I think it's highly, who wants to put that amount of work into this game? Well, I mean, some people do. I don't particularly want to do it because it's so long. And again, I lose the story element of it. And the action deck can just, it's just, brutal for the rebels at times that make you feel like you're just spinning your wheels. And, it's like, okay, I spent all this time and nothing happens. Nothing happens at all. Which is kind of unfortunate. This is probably, I won't say it's the last time I'll ever play Freedom in the Galaxy, but maybe. Maybe something will trigger me to try and play it again. But I have Star Wars Rebellion, which takes, the idea of the galaxy-wide rebellion and puts it into, a much more, I don't want to say playable. It is more playable. It's quicker. Your decisions are, more, on to, have more impact each turn. You feel like you're making progress or that you're suffering, and both players are doing kind of similar things. So, as the Imperial player here, you're just kind of shuffling troops around. Yeah, you do missions and stuff, but, you're very constrained by the strategic assignment deck. And by your characters in general. You have much fewer characters. You want to gather them together as well. And, it's not as interesting, I don't think, for the Empire in this game anyway. And obviously, if you were playing this opposed and you wanted to have a competitive game, the Rebel player is going to be, analyzing this stuff for a long time. And you're going to be sitting there, making a sandwich, watching TV while they figure out what to do, because that's really the only way you're going to have a competitive game of this. And, that's not a whole lot of fun either for the Imperial player to have to do that. So, anyway, it's always a game that, even as a kid, I didn't get it as a kid. I always looked at it, didn't have the money or whatever to buy it, or there were other games, but I was always like, man, I really want this game. And when I got it, much later in life, maybe like 10 years ago, I played it once and was like, I don't know about this. And I played it again, and it's kind of the same thing. It's just, it's, just so burdensome in terms of, versus what you're getting in terms of story and outcome, that it's not a game I'll be particularly interested in playing anytime soon. So, all right.